Pat. I'm just going to put this here. Thank you. Those are bright lights.
No, I'm just waiting for the cue.
Right? Okay.
Good afternoon, esteemed guests, staff, and members of the media. My name is Marvin Duat. I'm the chair of the Halton Catholic District School Board, and on behalf of our school board, it is my pleasure to welcome you today. We are currently standing on the construction site of our newest Catholic elementary school in Oakville, currently referred to as North Oakville number 4, until it is officially named in the next few weeks. Today, we are honored to have with us the Minister of Education and the Minister of Finance. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my sincere thanks and appreciation for his ongoing support and for the Ministry of Education's continued partnership with our school board. The much anticipated completion of this new school is a very concrete example of how, working together, we will continue to meet the growing needs of our community. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming the Minister of Education, His Honorable Stephen Lecce, to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, good morning, everyone. It is absolutely wonderful to be back in Halton with an amazing team. And first off, let me just thank Minister Bethlenfalvy for his incredible support for today's announcement and leadership following a very successful budget. I want to welcome officially the two new parliamentary assistants in the Ministry of Education, Natalie Pierre and Billy Pang. Thank you so much for your leadership. I'm very excited to work with these strong, principled leaders in our community, individuals who care deeply about public service, and of course with my friend Stephen Crawford, both MPP for Oakville and the Parliamentary Assistant to the Minister of Finance. So we've got a strong team here today, and a shout out of gratitude to Effie Tranthopoulos, the amazing MPP for Oakville North Burlington. We are in her community. I thank her. We thank her for her relentless advocacy. We're actually standing in the North Oakville number 4 Catholic Elementary School. We approved this in 2020. It was because of Effie, her leadership, and for this, we thank her because this is the gold standard, the standard we want to achieve to build schools faster in communities that are growing, and I'm grateful to the Mayor of Oakville for his partnership in getting these projects moved through the system as quickly as possible. Also want to give a shout out to Pat Daly from the Ontario Catholic Trustees Association. We've got Kathleen from OPSPA, members from our French Trustees Association. Thank you all for being here today for a very exciting announcement as we move this province forward and we build for the future. Because Ontario's population is rising and we are investing to build infrastructure and homes across this province. From a new medical school announced just yesterday in Vaughan, yes, I had to plug that today, announced by our Premier, to the largest transit expansion in Canadian history underway as we speak. For our Premier and for this team, it's about building for the future. And of course, schools are the beating heart of our communities. Since 2018, our government has approved 248 new and expanded schools, totaling 100,000 new student spaces and 8,000 childcare spaces. We're talking about over $3 billion of investment dedicated to building schools by our province and to renew schools as well. That's over 100 schools under construction like this one as we speak, and 200 more in the pipeline that will start construction soon. We also unveiled a plan to cut construction timelines by half, saving both time and money and creating pressure on the system to get these jobs done faster. Now today we're building on our plan to build new schools and opportunities for our kids by announcing that our government is more than doubling the school building fund to over $1.3 billion to build modern schools across this province faster. And this will represent the single largest investment in school building history. And for the first time, the government is more than doubling the funding that prioritizes shovel-ready schools along with joint use projects. This investment today, this historic investment today, this year alone will help us create 27,000 new student spaces for modern learning and more than 1,700 childcare spaces across this province within our schools. Nous avons doublé les fonds pour les constructions de l'école Ontario. We are more than doubling the fund to build schools, and this builds upon our actions in December of 2023 when we announced additional measures to cut construction timelines for new schools by up to 50% to meet the unprecedented pace of growth across this province, frankly to keep up with it, as the good Mayor of Oakville encourages government to do. And this investment and plan will ensure school boards and municipalities and governments work faster and smarter together to get the job done. Because, colleagues, we simply cannot afford to wait. By doubling funding, we will get these projects off the ground quickly and opened faster. In a few years, not upwards of 7 or 8 as it takes as on average in this province. That's not the case in Halton, but it is the case in some parts of Ontario. So we're doubling the funding today. We're prioritizing shovel-ready projects so that we can get students in their classrooms sooner. It's part of a broader plan and a budget as unveiled by Minister Bethlenfalvy, including a strong continued commitment to public education. And I'm very grateful to him, to Caroline Mulroney, and to the Premier for this large, notable, historic, unprecedented investment in publicly funded school building. And so thank you, Peter. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Premier Ford. It's amazing. It cannot be understated how massive this is. And so we are serious about building and improving schools. We're serious about getting back to basics in our publicly funded schools by focusing on literacy and math and raising standards across our province. These actions are critically important for creating rewarding pathways into good paying careers for our kids. And so with that, I say thank you to the amazing partners, to our advocates, to AMO, of course to our school boards, public and Catholic, English and French, all of whom encourage government to build faster and invest more so that we can renew our schools. So thank you to you all. And now with that, Ontario's Minister of Finance, Peter Bethlenfalvy. Thank you, sir.
Well done. Well, thank you so much, Minister Lecce, and thank you for everyone for joining us here today. Really honored that you could be with us and all of you. You know, before I get going on some remarks, I just want to tell again, everyone, I dedicated the budget last week to my father. And he came from overseas as a young man and had the dream of leaving war-torn Europe to build a new life. And you know what, he needed to do that. And by the way, he's turning 94 today, so happy birthday, Dad. I'll see you a little bit later. But that 19-year-old who came to this country in 1949, you know, he just wanted the opportunity to get an education, to get a job, raise a family. He ended up having 3 kids. And you know what those 3 kids needed? They needed a school. So we can't welcome people from around the world without doing things, Minister Lecce, that you're doing, and through your leadership and accelerating the building of infrastructure like schools and daycare spaces, childcare spaces, is so critical to having that same dream that my father had all those years ago for everyone else here today. So thank you. And you know, it's not just about more schools. This will also benefit teachers, our great teachers right across the province. My grandmother, my mother's mother, who came from living everything behind in Hungary, she was a teacher. To my daughter, who's a teacher, to my cousin Janie, who's a teacher. You know, this is an important part of the support for education, and our future is our education and our children. So I couldn't be more proud to be standing here with you today and about the things in our budget that is helping to build Ontario and invest in things that people need, like more schools, affordable housing, hospitals, transit, highways, because over the next 10 years, we've put forward a budget of $190 billion of capital to build things like these schools so that we can accommodate our population growth. Just a few days ago, last year, we learned that our population grew in Ontario by 533,000 people. It's almost 1 million people in 2 years. You know, how are they going to get around? How are they going to be able to afford a home? And where are they going to go to school? So we're talking about the critical infrastructure and long-term assets that will make Ontario stronger in the long run. By building schools and other key infrastructure, we're heading off economic slowdowns. We're boosting prosperity and productivity for all and fueling economic growth. We have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to build more. And as Minister Lecce said, build faster and build the things that matter most. And folks, we can't afford to wait. We're leaning into education in Ontario so that our kids have every advantage they need to succeed for generations to come. Like my father, who came all those years ago and had 3 kids, and his son standing before you today. I want that same dream for everyone, all 16 million people that call Ontario home, as the best place to live, to work, and raise a family. And that's what the 2024 budget is all about. It's our plan to rebuild Ontario's economy while supporting workers and families and businesses, a place where you can get a world-class education and get a better job with a bigger paycheck. And I'm so happy to be standing in front of you with so many skilled trades and workers and some people who build these things, because these are good jobs and they're bigger paychecks, and guess what? They're secure jobs and they're growing jobs. Because, you know, Stephen, we're not stopping with this announcement today. We are going to keep going. We're going to be making announcements right across the province to build more schools, to build more highways, to build more transit, to build more hospitals, long-term care. We're going to do it around the province, and we're going to make it so you can feel safe and secure in your community, to make it feel like a better Ontario. We're getting it ready to build, and I'd now like to welcome one of our partners in getting it done, the Mayor of Oakville, Rob Burton, to the podium. Thank you very much, everyone.
What a great day for education this is in Ontario and in our town. $1.3 billion of investment in new schools is a great leap forward. Our growing province needs the 60 new and expanded schools that this investment will create. I'm grateful for the support for new schools and good education for our kids. Minister Lecce, Minister Bethlenfalvy, you guys have changed my life as mayor when it comes to schools. What a satisfying change it is to now be able to use my time to thank a provincial government for the schools we need. I used to spend time begging previous governments to build the schools we needed that they couldn't find the money for. You're a wizard, sir, and I thank you for your wizardry. Ontario is a place to grow. Minister Lecce, your leadership in schools is building up more than just our education infrastructure. You're building up our future generations. I'd now like to welcome Patrick Daly, the President of the Ontario Catholic School Trustees Association, to the podium. Mr. Daly.
Thank you, Mayor Burton, Minister Lecce, Minister Bethlenfalvy, parliamentary assistants, and members of the Halton Catholic District School Board. It is my real honor and pleasure to bring warm words of greetings and deep, deep gratitude on behalf of the Ontario Catholic School Trustees Association and the 29 Catholic school boards we represent. Today's announcement of $1.3 billion in support of the construction of 60 new schools and the expansion of a number of others is, for me, a truly historic occasion. It holds out the promise in rapidly growing areas and indeed throughout our province of transforming the learning environments in which young people learn and grow. Particularly in terms of technology and promoting 21st century learning, school facilities matter. And I want to recognize and thank Minister Lecce for his strong leadership and his vision. I know that his advocacy was instrumental in making today's announcement a reality. So on behalf of our association, Minister, but more importantly, on behalf of the 550,000 students who attend Catholic schools in Ontario, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to thank Minister Bethlenfalvy, MPPs that are with us, and all members of the government for continuing to place priority on publicly funded education in our province. Thank you, and now it's my real pleasure to introduce the first Vice President of the Ontario Public School Boards Association and trustee on the Waterloo Region District School Board, Kathleen Woodcock, to come to the podium. Kathleen?
Good afternoon, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Kathleen Woodcock, and I am First Vice President of the Ontario Public School Boards Association and also a trustee with the Waterloo Region District School Board. I want to start by acknowledging the government's commitment to building and expanding schools. Minister Lecce, I know you hear regularly from school board chairs and trustees about the needs that exist in our communities. On behalf of our member school boards and the 1.3 million students in our schools, I want to thank you for advocating on our behalf. This investment is a significant step in the right direction. While communities across Ontario continue to grow rapidly, The funding announced today will help ensure that more students across the province have access to modern, state-of-the-art learning environments. I also want to acknowledge the government's plans to streamline the school construction process and to say that school boards share your commitment to efficiency and accountability when it comes to building new schools. Today's announcement represents a significant opportunity to enhance education in Ontario, and we look forward to seeing the positive impact it will have on our students and communities. Thank you, and that brings our event to a close, and I'd like to turn the mic over to Isha Chidhori to open it up for questions from the media. Thank you.
We'll now take reporters' questions. Please step up to the mic and state your name and outlet. As a reminder, it's one question, one follow-up. We'll take our first question.
Hi there, David Lee, Oakville Beaver. We heard a breakdown of, I believe, how many Catholic schools will be built. Is there a breakdown for how many public schools will be built with this investment?
So we're going to be unveiling each of those schools over the next 6 to 8 weeks. Today's investment is the doubling of funding, the doubling of this number of schools we've historically built. It also ensures that we're building 27,000 net new spaces in this year's funding commitment alone. So it's significant, and I assure you Catholic and public, English and French school boards are all net beneficiaries of this renewed investment. Every school board and every community will benefit.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Lecce, Martin Traynor, CBC News.
Hi, Mark.
Martin. I wonder, what do you think of the federal Liberals' pledge to fund a $1 billion school food program, and how will this help Ontario students? Would you mind referring to the cameras, please, if you don't mind?
So, in Ontario, we have a very robust student nutrition program that, in fact, our government has scaled up twice with an additional investment, $38 million in total, supporting roughly 600,000 meals and snacks. So we're proud of the work we're doing in Ontario in partnership with the student nutrition program, the volunteers, the many seniors that run this program. We are grateful. Look, we welcome federal contribution. We want it to be enduring and sustainable, and we want to reach kids quickly. So we look forward to hearing more details from this announcement. I know it was originally committed to in previous campaigns many years ago. So let's get the dollars at the door. Let's work together to help more kids and make sure that children can go to school with a nutritious breakfast. I think in this country we could all agree we want that for every child. And we are a compassionate government. We're investing more in this respect. We'll work with any level of government and our school boards to make sure that we can support more families in need.
Thank you very much. And follow up, the Feds say the money will support existing provincial programs. So what work has Ontario done to identify which schools and which food programs will get the funding?
Well, we have a program in roughly 7 in 10 schools today. Wherever there is a need, we have nutrition programs. Those are running actively daily. And of course, we look forward to getting more details from the Feds. They made this announcement just days ago. They've yet to release much of the details. When they do, we'll be working with them lock and step to get those dollars out the door to feed more kids, make sure that in this amazing, prosperous nation, every child can get to school with a full, nutritious breakfast. I think we could agree that's the basic expectation of our community, of our school boards, of our government coming together. So we look forward to working with them and our school boards to get those dollars out the door.
Good afternoon, Minister Walter from City News. I want to switch to a different municipality. The Toronto District School Board says they are faced with a structural deficit. Is the province going to allow the board to lift the moratorium on school closures so they can consolidate and use the $16 million proceeds to generate by a sale of surplus property to that gap?
One of the big priorities of school boards has been the need to build more schools. And so today we're focused on building more schools for the people of Ontario with a more than doubling of the funding. Our Premier is sending a message to communities across Ontario that we're going to do a better job and move faster and smarter to build for the future so that kids can learn in modern STEM-focused schools. That's our commitment today, to build new schools. And so we're going to focus on that for the time being. We'll obviously work with all school boards. We expect them to do what every board is doing, which is coming up with a balanced budget. and that's our expectation. But having said that, today I think will be good news for every board in Ontario, as communicated from their own associations, Catholic and public, that this is a positive step forward, building modern schools, investing more funding so that we can build better schools, new schools in Toronto and frankly in small towns and big cities across this province.
That concludes our press conference. Thank you everyone for coming.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.